Welcome one and welcome all. This is HaloPod, a podcast powered by Halo, a certified minority-owned search firm. We provide the white glove service in connecting employers with potential employees to create the perfect match opportunity. I'm your host and insight extraordinaire, Angelo. On the pod today, we have Alex Cohen. We are going to discuss his recent transition into Trapp Technology and his view on cloud security. But you know what I like to say. Let's dive right in and give Alex his time to shine. I am here with our guest, Alex Cohen. Alex is a cloud security engineer at Trapp Technology. Trapp Technology is an IT company that provides managed IT services, cloud hosting, and managed security services. First off, Alex, how's all in your world? How are you doing?
Doing good, my dude. How are you doing?
I got no complaints on my end. I'm glad we can make time to speak. Really appreciate you being on.
For sure.
Now, to get us started here, Alex, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself and, just dive into the journey of you getting into cybersecurity.
For sure. So I lost my marketing job during the pandemic, and I was inspired by my wife, who went to a boot camp to learn coding to be a software engineer. And she was evaluating an alternative option to go into information security with a boot camp called the Vault Security Academy. And ever since she told me that you could go to a boot camp to learn information security, kind of just stuck with me. And when I lost my job during the pandemic, I was like, okay, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to pivot.
Wow, well, that's awesome. It's cool to have that support system and your wife, and it's awesome that this boot camp was available to you. Do you kind of want to shout out the boot camp a little bit, or?
Always. Big ups to Evolve Security Academy. They have a really good program. I learned a lot through them and got a lot of really great experience, made a lot of great friends through the program that I still talk to this day. And I really owe a lot of my success to the foundation that Evolve Security Academy helped me build.
Wonderful. Now, have you kind of gathered some personal goals that you would like to achieve in the field here? Is there some things you want to check off?
My personal goals are really simple. I've always been interested by information security, and it's just pretty cool that I can make the pivot into the field. But on a personal level, after losing that job during that recession, I knew that I needed to have a recession-proof job and skill set. And information security is definitely that. And I've gotten to learn some really cool things with a lot of fun people, and it's been incredible.
Nice, that's good to hear. Now, as far as what you like to see from an employer, I see you recently made a move to Trapp Technologies. I believe it's like within the last 3 or 4 months, correct?
Yeah, very recently. Um, I really like fully remote um, type of work culture. And I know there's a lot of places that want you in the office, and I get it, but the cloud, why am I going to somebody's office to access the cloud?
Yeah, is this your first time being in a fully remote role
Not at all. I've been fully remote since basically
since the
since
pan?
the pandemic. Yeah.
Right. Okay, that makes sense then. And so, was that kind of like the icing on the cake, or what kind of made you realize that this is the company that you could commit to going forward? Was it specifically the being fully remote, or was there an extra caveat or two?
I mean, there's a lot of things that go into it, but Trap was also my first job out of boot camp. They were the ones that were willing to give me a shot, and I started there as a tech. I worked my way up to an analyst, and I mean, it's hard to break into this industry. So when the time came for me to decide my next move in my career, and I saw that Trap had a cloud security engineer role open, it was a no brainer for me to reach out to my friends at Trap and see what's up.
Ah, nice. Now, What's what's a healthy work environment for you, or a healthy work culture? And are you? I assume you are, but are you seeing a lot of those things in Trap currently?
Oh yeah, they're checking all of my boxes. Leadership that's accessible and transparent, colleagues who are kind and respectful, happy to help if you're stuck somewhere on something, and a good work-life balance. I mean, they've got it all.
Wonderful. Yeah, it sounds like they got a pretty good team in place, and you're really being able to benefit. I as well get the benefit from a great team at Halo over here, so I can totally understand that. And
Gotta
we
have it.
are, yeah, 100%. And we're remote, and but we get together as much as we can, and yeah, totally understand and can totally relate to that. Um, Now, cloud security, such a hot topic these days. Can you give us an overview on, the current state of cloud security and maybe any trends that you see emerging in the industry?
Yeah. Well, it's the cloud is just somebody else's computer, right? Um, Trends, everybody's moving to the cloud. It's so hot right now. Uh, what I see, unfortunately, a lot is a lot of misconfigurations that have been causing issues for folks. I mean, all these cloud providers have really great tools and technology behind their cloud that makes security easy, but it's still tragically easy to leave something public that should be private or hard code your credentials somewhere that it shouldn't be.
And when you say the cloud is just somebody else's computer, do you mind elaborating on that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, their business model is essentially don't build this on your on-premises server. We have servers for you to use, and it's cheaper and easier to do so. That's the main pitch for any cloud computing provider. So when I say it's just somebody else's computer, it means literally just that. It's Amazon's, Google's, Microsoft's, Oracle's, you name it. It's their server and their technology that you're building on top of.
Gotcha. Now, how would you say, how well do you stay up to date with the latest trends and technologies, and how do you stay up to date? Like, is there a certain resource you check, or is there maybe people in your network that maybe helps you on that? Um, what facilities do you kind of have to stay, on track with the latest trends out there?
For sure. There are a couple of places that I like to go for information. I always try to catch Black Hills Information Securities talking about the news. They have it every Monday at 3:30 Central Time.
Oh wow, that's
Usually
cool.
it's really interesting. I really enjoy what they do. I will show them anywhere because I just have so much love for them. But yeah, really great way to stay up to date with what's happening in the industry. But outside of that, I also follow Reddit's cybersecurity subreddit is pretty decent, and my LinkedIn network is usually just filled with whatever's going on. So I'm always checking that as well. And then there are, some white papers or reports that I like to check out too, like Palo Alto's Cloud Threat Report. I found that to be really helpful. Um, there's a lot of really great information out there, and everybody gets their information somewhere else, but those
Right.
are usually the first places that I'll check.
Awesome. That's cool. It's awesome. You got so many different resources to kind of check. Um, Now, what are some of the most common mistakes that you're seeing businesses make these days, or cloud security in general?
Yeah, in the cloud, most of the time it's misconfigurations that seem to be the most problematic, something like exposed sensitive data or unencrypted data at rest. And then there are some things that I see that's, applies to the cloud, but it also applies to pretty much all of security as well, like weak authentication, unpatched vulnerabilities, inefficient alert handling. Um, but really, from a lot of the recent incidents, it seems to be hard coded credentials in places where they shouldn't be. It's a disturbing trend that I've definitely heard one too many times.
Now, in your opinion, what are some of the biggest challenges facing the cloud security industry right now, you would say?
Well, I've heard some horror stories of people trying to migrate their antiquated tech stack to the cloud. They're usually under budget.
Now, now, just let's break it down for, people like me. What so they're what tech stack to the cloud? They're antiquated. One more time, sorry.
Antiquated tech stack. And what I mean by that is, you have some on-premises server that you built in the 80s. And
So an antique. Okay, I got you.
right,
Okay,
exactly.
now I was
Something
thinking a little too hard on
super old.
it.
Something that they wouldn't even, it's run past the end of life. They're no longer providing patches or any sort of updates or upgrades for it. And now you're going to try to migrate your workloads that you built on, some operating system that nobody uses anymore to something that's available to you in the cloud. And I mean, I've heard time and time again how they thought it'd be an in and out 20-minute adventure. And it turns out that it's, dragged on now for years, and it's, something crazy like 5 to 10x over budget of what they thought it was going to cost.
All right. So, with that being said, what are some of the ups? Well, what kind of let's get away from the issues, but what are kind of some of like the ups and what makes your day?
My day, personally, working with colleagues that I enjoy and that are a pleasure to work with. But for me, it's all about that midday walk and stretch.
I hear that.
You gotta get up out of your desk and not look at a computer screen for like a solid hour. Get outside in nature, take a walk somewhere. It's without that, I really struggle because it's just, in this kind of industry, you could literally spend sun up to sundown, seated in a chair staring at a computer screen or three. And when I can break up my day and get out from under the computer, take a walk, take a stretch, get some fresh air, get some sunlight,
Got to recharge.
it's game changing. But outside of that, a constant stream of water and coffee also helps the day go by.
Okay. So that gets the day flowing nice. And how do you kind of see cloud security evolving in the next few years? What can businesses do to prepare for uh, those things that maybe you see coming?
Well, everything is moving to the cloud. So if you're not moving to the cloud, and you're sticking with on-prem, that's cool, but you're kind of the exception as opposed to the norm in this day and age. But like, listen, you want to keep your stuff on-prem, I get it. It's just going to be more costly and less efficient. But I would imagine cloud security is going to evolve substantially in the next couple of years. And the best thing any business can really do is just be cognizant of what's changing with cloud security. Measure twice, cut once. And if you don't have someone on your team who's fluent with cloud and fluent with security, and ideally fluent with cloud security, good luck and Godspeed to you.
Now, do you truly feel things are safer in the cloud than on-prem?
Well, I think it really depends. You can build really safe and secure cloud environments if you're cognizant of the best practices that go into cloud security. Yeah, absolutely. You can do it and it'll be more safe and more secure. But, again, it depends. There's really no one size fits all in security. And maybe, your on-prem is well more secure because it's just completely walled off from anyone and anything. But is anything really secure in this day and age in general?
Yeah, good point. Very good point. Now, what's kind of keeping you engaged, Alex? What's keeping you getting up, saying like, "Hey, I've been in this field. I want to keep going. I want to keep exploring." What's keeping you in the game?
I'm learning cool things and I'm getting to use cool tech, and I'm continuing to build for myself what I would like to think is job security, because growing up as, I guess you could call, an elder millennial, this is my what, third financial meltdown that I've lived through. I I learned how important it is to make sure that no matter what crazy stuff is happening in the world, in the economy, you're able to make money that facilitates, the rest of your life, because it's really hard um, to try to make things happen when the economy is just, every couple of years having these issues where, unfortunately, I see far too many really great people out of a job right now, no fault of their own. um, and having lived through so many of these financial meltdowns, I've kind of, that's been really the driving force behind everything, is learn what I need to learn so that I could best position myself for whatever challenges are coming to me, um, tomorrow, next year, next decade. You have it.
Any advice you would give to those thinking about getting into the cybersecurity field?
Yeah. Well, two things. A warning that it's incredibly difficult to break into this industry. There really aren't many true entry level roles, and most companies will be hesitant to take a chance on really anybody without some relevant experience, which you're going to have to be really scrappy to get. And then also some encouragement. The industry really does need you. We need more people in this field. And unfortunately, I've talked to a lot of folks in the industry. Almost every security operations team is woefully understaffed. And this seems to be an issue across the board. So I feel like it's a really good field to be in once you're able to break into it. But getting that first job is going to be the hardest, unless you're, transitioning from something like help desk or sysadmin. It might be a little easier if you have some relevant tech experience, but even then, it's really hard, really, really hard to break into this industry. But after that first job, it gets easier. And then every job and every experience you have after that, it gets easier and it's better. But I just remember first trying to break into this industry, how absolutely miserable that experience was.
Yeah, just had to get through that first door, right? Just had to get
That's
through that
right.
first door. Man, well, that's awesome. How do you feel you're doing today with like work life balance? It's always kind of the golden thing we want these days, and it's sometimes it's harder for others. How do you feel you do on it?
I'm probably the exception here. I feel like I really have great work life balance. I mean, keep in mind I just started a new job. So things haven't gotten crazy hectic yet, and they will. I know that they will. But I have a lot of things going for me right now that I feel really good about, like a fully remote job, a set schedule, which is really nice. I have a 24/7 managed SOC team, so I don't have to personally worry about anyone's security, which is a really nice luxury to have. And I also have a really understanding and flexible manager. If something comes up in my personal life, I can make up the hours later. I was able to use my paid time off to spend time with my family. And some places it can be really difficult to use your PTO, especially if they're woefully understaffed and you happen to be in a security operations role. It can be kind of difficult. So I feel incredibly lucky that I do have that work life balance and that flexibility, just because I really enjoy what I do. I really enjoy information security, but I don't want to make this my whole 24/7 life. I need to be able to walk away from the computer screen at the end of the day and not, be thinking about, what alerts might come in that I have to check my email or my phone, constantly. Like I don't have to worry about that. That's really lucky and really kind of definitely the exception for this industry, I think, at least for SecOps.
I'm glad you found that. I really am. What do you do to like recharge when you're outside of work and when you're finding that peace? What's a hobby outside of work for you, Alex?
Yeah, I like to take long walks and I also do yoga. And I found, the human body isn't meant to sit in a chair for
No,
as long
got to
as we
keep.
put it through.
One thing my grandma always said is you got to keep it moving.
Yeah, you really do.
That's
I mean, I, I notice how easy it is to fall into bad habits and develop chronic back and shoulder pain just from sitting in a chair all day. And it's so incredibly important, for me at least, to be able to walk away from my desk, take long walks, do some stretching, try to do some regular yoga. But when I'm not doing those things, I really enjoy watching horror movies and series. And when I'm inspired, I play music too.
that's awesome. And as far as what you're watching these days, is there anything in specific that you're watching that's piquing your interest?
It's usually just completely random. Uh, I'm watching through Community right now with my wife. That's been really enjoyable. Um, Horror movie wise, I think I just watched, was it Dawn of the Dead? That was pretty cool.
It's awesome. As we kind of wrap things up here, Alex, and thank you again so much for being on. You've truly been awesome. It's been really cool to get to hear your journey. I did want to ask though, did you have any social media that you maybe want to get out there, or maybe we can plug Trapp Technology's website, anything like that?
Great question. You can definitely put my LinkedIn out there. I'm happy to connect with anybody who's in the industry or wants to be in industry. If you have any questions about my journey or my experience, definitely let me know how I can help you wherever you happen to be in your journey. Hopefully, into the industry or progressing through it. We definitely need more people in the industry, and even though the hiring practices for entry level are pretty archaic and very unfriendly, it really is a great industry to be in, and we can take all the help that we can get. I'd also like to plug BurbSec, BurbSec, BurbSec. It's a local InfoSec nerds meetup. We meet every month. We have different locations depending on where you're living in and around the city. Definitely check us out. Come and meet out with us. Come grab a drink. It's a really great group of folks. I really enjoy everyone that I've met through BurbSec, and I look forward to every chance that I can get to hang out with them, grab a drink, and just talk shop.
Great conversation and spotlight on cloud security and Alex's personal experience. I appreciate our guest for taking time to discuss his path and views. Check out Trapp Technologies and make sure you follow us at Halo Consulting via social medias and YouTube. Visit haloconsulting.com for all your recruitment consulting needs.